To most mainstream film fans, Ernest Dickerson is most well known for acting as the cinematographer on some of Spike Lee's best-known films. He was behind the lens for both Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X, just to name a couple of the several projects those two collaborated on. Nowadays, Dickerson has established himself as an insanely prolific director of television series, contributing to all kinds of projects and significantly to The Wire and Treme. But while cultivating that very impressive career, he has also fostered a career-long love for horror films. Early in his career, he shot independent horror films, including the legendarily bizarre Death by Temptation, as well as 8 episodes of the anthology series Tales from the Dark Side. His infatuation with horror made the transition to his directing career as well. He helmed the Tales from the Crypt feature film Demon Knight and episodes of the anthology series Masters of Horror and Fear Itself. Perhaps the cornerstone of his horror career is Bones, the 2001 ghost revenge film starring hip-hop icon Snoop Dogg. Snoop plays Jimmy Bones, a 1970s local legend who was murdered under contentious circumstances and now haunts the dilapidated building where he was killed. In the present day of 2001, a group of young adults purchases the building to turn into a nightclub where they can show off their DJing prowess. Unbeknownst to them, their parents harbor a deep connection to Jimmy Bones and his passing. Our entrepreneurial DJ heroes inadvertently awaken the spirit of Bones, who proceeds to carry out his revenge on those responsible for his death. Pam Grier plays a palm reader and a medium who was close to Jimmy in the 1970s. Clifton Powell portrays the father of the DJ brothers and has a couple excellent scenes, and Michael T. Weiss delivers a truly disgusting performance as a slimy, corrupt detective. Fans of 70s horror will no doubt notice the similarity to the plot of J.D.'s Revenge, and while this isn't a remake, it's quite clear that there was some inspiration taken from that film. The first 2/3 of this movie are a little spotty in my opinion. I like pretty much everything that takes place in the 1970s flashbacks, but I wasn't as into the present day portion with the friends opening their nightclub. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that dialogue from this entire era of film can be a little grating, and movies in general from the early 2000s haven't aged quite as finely as horror pictures from the 70s and 80s. At least not yet. If you start this movie and find yourself wanting to shut it off maybe halfway through, I wouldn't really blame you. But if you stick it out until the last half hour, you will be handsomely rewarded because this movie gets bonkers. The youngins aren't as much the focal point here, letting the much better older actors take center stage. Jimmy Bones finally assumes his full power in the third act, and Snoop Dogg is pretty good at portraying this vengeful vampiric ghost character. I'm not going to show too much of it, but man, there is some surreal stuff going on here. There's some almost Beetlejuice-style horror comedy, which is admittedly totally out of place, but I thought it was fun. The recurring use of maggots is really well executed and satisfying every time they show up. The entire climactic face-off with Jimmy Bones is just bananas, and I thought it was a lot of fun and made me forgive the parts of the first 2 acts that I didn't think were quite so good. I think ideally this would have been like a 45-minute episode of Tales from the Crypt, focusing solely on the adults and Jimmy's revenge, but we'll just have to take what we can get here and appreciate what we have. I watched this for free on Tubi, and the picture was fine. Scream Factory has released a bonus feature-packed Blu-ray, so if you feel that this is worth adding to your collection, then there's a nice and in-print version available for you. Let me know what you thought of this one if you check it out, and if there's anything else you'd like to hear me review in the future. Thank you for watching, and check out my channel for some other reviews of horror and exploitation films from around the world.